What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Four Plot Podcast. It'd be helpful if I hit record on my actual podcasting software. I always forget to do that. We do
might be. You want to do that again?
We do the live thing, and then I always so I'll just start right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Four Plot Podcast. My name is Will. Tonight, I am here with Eric, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Eric, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. Actually, I'm in Houston, Texas today.
Houston, Texas now, traveling all over the place. That will explain the different background with your wall there. That's awesome. Well,
yes, welcome to my hotel suite.
Yeah, glad to have you. We got some more people joining us later. Apparently, they're having some problems booting up their computer, but you know what? It's okay, just me and you, man. I'm okay with just hanging out with you, bro.
Hey, this dynamic, it's worked for many years.
It's worked for many years, many years. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Got a few things we're going to cover tonight. Number one being the PlayStation event just happened just a few hours ago, just wrapped up. Lots of news from there if you're a PlayStation fan. What's exciting about PlayStation events are, Eric, I know you and I are primarily Xbox, Switch people, right? You play a lot of Switch. You do a lot of Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, I see you. Like you're discreetly. You never hit me up and like, hey, let's play Switch together. But you're on all the time, man. All the time.
Most of the things that I play on Switch, admittedly, are either single player, like I was on Animal Crossing binge for a while, or I'm going super try hard with like Super Smash Brothers, and there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in that one.
You would destroy me at Super Smash Brothers, so I'm not even going to go to play that with you at all. And Nintendo's platform is
it's garbage.
It's garbage. It's pretty bad. If you're not familiar with Nintendo's online platform, just imagine that you can play online with your friends. You cannot chat unless you open up an app and you chat via the app. So if you'd like to call your friends and play with them that way, then that's how you do it. That's really the way it goes. But yeah, so lots of PlayStation announcements coming out today. Exciting PlayStation announcements. The one thing I love PlayStation 4, we talked about on this podcast a ton of times, are the exclusives. We had a lot of exclusives talked about today. Some we knew about, some we did not. Let's just jump right in. Let's take it one by one. All right. Cool. I'm going to start with the Knights of the Old Republic is getting a next-gen remake. I mean, that's big news for fans of that game. Got to be honest. Never played it. Never played the next gen remake. I mean, never played Knights of the Old Republic.
It's big news for anybody that has been looking for something like Knights of the Old Republic on this next generation of consoles, because let's be real, the Battlefront games and even the what was the pilot game? I wanted to play it, but I never actually did.
The new one that just came out?
Yeah.
Was it Squadrons?
I keep on wanting to say Squadrons, and I can't get Rogue Squadron out of my mind from the old N64 and GameCube era. Maybe it was Squadrons. Regardless, nothing really ever recaptured that magic that Knights of the Old Republic had, and just the cult following that was all about it. So I think this is huge news.
Yeah, Star Wars Squadrons is it. That's the name of it. It was pretty fun. I like Star Wars Squadrons. It was that's a difficult game for me to play. But yes, Knights of the Old Republic, people love that game. They've loved it for years. I think it's so funny that we just continue, instead of creating new games people love, we just continue to reboot and remaster these old games, which that's great. You know, that's not a bad thing.
But people pay for them. I mean, why would anybody go through the trouble of creating a new IP or even a new idea for an existing IP if they know, hey, people are going to pay $60 for this again? Let's just remake it.
And at the end of the day, honestly, I mean, we'd like to imagine that people are like, oh man, like it's all about the gamers and the games and da-da-da. No, man. It's honestly more about for people, it's a lot more about making money in those studios.
The case study that I always come back to for stuff like that is whenever we play Rainbow Six and we realize that they've done a rework of this map, it's all done for that select percentage that they know they can milk money off of, i.e. the competitive gamers, because that's where the all the money flow is going to come from. They don't give a crap about you and me that play a couple nights a week.
No, they don't. Not at all. All we know right now is coming to PS5. That's about all we know. Not a lot of details besides it comes to PS5. I'm assuming a title like that is going to come to Xbox and all that. Looks like we have a guest trying to join us here. Let's see if we can bring him in. Matthew, you there? Matthew, can you hear us? Matt. This is the joy of doing it live. Matt, we're live right now. We're actually
hey, guys.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, you sound great, man.
Thank you.
Can I get us all like this? Oh, look at this. Look at this view. This is what I'm talking about. Oh, nice. So we were just talking about the PlayStation event that just dropped earlier today. Knights of the Old Republic getting a remake. All we know is it's coming to PS5. That's about it.
Hey.
All right, that's all we know. Were you a big fan of the Knights of the Old Republic games? Did you play them?
Yeah, I loved the first one is the only one I played, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was one of those games I kind of picked up and kind of started playing, and then I didn't really like the combat system, how it interacted, that kind of, classic BioWare style of, KOTOR and what was the other? Dragon Age was very similar.
Yeah.
So I put it down after only a couple hours, and then picked it back up like a couple years later, and then blasted through the whole rest of it. It was a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Very cool. Other announcements, Tiny Tina's Wonderland has a release date, which I was under the impression when I first saw this that this was a like a Borderlands 3 DLC. It's not. I think it's its own standalone game. It's kind of how they're doing it. Yeah, Gearbox's fantasy spin on Borderlands, Tiny Tina's Wonderland now has a release date. The game will be out on March 25th, and they released an all-new trailer today.
So question on that, because I did not see that trailer, but I do know that Borderlands kind of had that like D&D like campaign, and I think that was Tiny Tina's whole deal. Is it going to be more of that, and just in its own standalone type game?
I got to be honest, I did not watch the trailer today. It says it's a gameplay reveal trailer. I'm assuming it's Borderlands-esque. I heard Tiny Tina's Borderlands 2. I mean, Mike talks about it all the time, how incredible that DLC is. Never got around to it. So that comes out March 25th. Forspoken, I have no idea what this is. I got to be honest, I did not have time to watch these trailers between the announcements and today. Forspoken is a more interesting action games on the horizon. Latest trailer shows off the fast-paced movement, blah, 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 blah. Were you guys Alan Wake people? Did you ever play Alan Wake?
No, never did. I understand the hype that was around it, but never did play it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but it was an interesting concept for a game, like the dynamics of how you use light and stuff like that, and how it affects the world. So it's a cool concept, but I never did get to play it.
That was a 360 game, right? That was an Xbox 360 game. Yeah, which it's praised because of how original it was and how it did a lot of cool stuff like the light and things like that. So that's getting a remake. Another game that's getting a remake. Okay, I understand there's a lot of people who really enjoy this game still, but there's kind of a bone to pick with this one. An announcement today, guys. Heads up, prepare yourselves. Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to PS5 next March. All right, the next gen version of Grand Theft Auto 5, which it should be noted, originally launched in what do you know? What year did Grand Theft Auto 5 launch?
Are you genuinely asking, or is this like a quiz?
I mean, I know it's a quiz. What year did Grand Theft Auto 5 launch?
This has been milking for, I'd got to say, at least 7 years. So I'll give it a little more, and I'll say 2013.
I'm going to say 2011.
2013. It's 2013.
Yeah.
2013, dude. Smart. You're releasing a PS5 version. That means you will have 10 years. I mean, if they release in 2023, which I don't know if they will, 10 years between the Grand Theft Auto games.
Is there some sort of secret competition between them and Bethesda releasing Skyrim?
I guess.
Is it a dare? I don't.
Can we re-release the same game on the? Dude,
okay, here we go. Samsung refrigerators now, I think so.
Grand Theft Auto Online is the only thing that keeps it alive, of course, which a lot of people love. That
of course,
it's fun. It's a really fun sandbox experience. I enjoy it. It's not bad. It's just come on. I'm ready for another Vice City-esque beachy neon Grand Theft Auto.
Agreed.
Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know much about it. Slated for a spring launch on PS5 and PC. Not a big fan. Radiohead's doing something with Epic Games. Of course, Epic, Fortnite, all that kind of fun stuff.
So
Uncharted.
they're really just going to put themselves into Fortnite. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be a radio.
They're going to do one of those live concerts in Fortnite that some artists have done before.
I understand. Like, I truly do not get, and I know it's gonna date me. I do not get that whole thing, right? Like Fortnite doing all the events and people hanging out. It's almost like Fortnite has become more, and it has more of a community than it has like a game. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like, oh, we just
turning into Second Life slowly.
It is. It's like it's the new Sims. It's like, oh, yeah. You just hang out, and they did a Martin Luther King deal. They did like a
really.
Yeah, it was like a whole hall for it was really, really interesting. Uncharted getting remasters. The two most recent Uncharted games, The Thief's End and Lost Legacy, are being remastered.
Okay.
So that's a PS4 game getting remastered for the PS4.
Yeah, I need to catch up on the Uncharted games. I really enjoyed the first 3, but have not played since then.
Yeah. Gran Turismo 7 is coming next March.
Are they only up to 7? That seems surprising.
They're only up to 7. They're only up to 7. It has a release date of March 4th, 2022. But let's get to the two big ones. All right. Two big ones being, I'm going to start God of War Ragnarok had a trailer released. No release date, I don't think, but trailer released. And shows Atreus as older. Nice. It shows a whole cast of returning characters. What was the and I know, did you either one of you guys play God of War?
I don't have a PlayStation. That is one of those games that I watched streamers play relentlessly, and I would just sit and watch the cinematics so I could soak it all in.
I've got to remember the name. I'm gonna look it up. I don't know how to search the name of this character.
Who are you talking about?
Oh shoot, it's the woman, the female character who, I don't want to spoil the game for anybody else who hadn't played it, but she helps him out in the very beginning. She becomes like a main character. Say it again. Freya. Yeah, so Freya's back, clearly angry. And they go find it looks like they're going to go find Tyr, the giant God of War kind of character. And man, God of War story is fantastic. Like, it's really fantastic. It did not end the way I thought it was going to end, but really excited to see where they take the story in this new one. And the trailer looks cool. Atreus still looks like a punk. You know what I'm saying? He's still a punk boy. I mean, it's the father-son dynamic is awesome, but I could do without Atreus. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, it's the character that you're supposed to love to hate in some aspect, but truth be told, the rest of the characters in that game and the story as a whole are truly what make it. I mean, I love listening to Mimir both in the cutscenes and while action is on there and happening, because there's so much dialogue and lore that just gets dispersed throughout every single playthrough. And that's how they managed to cover up some of those more boring sections in like the overworld. So you're paddling between these sections, and instead of sitting here focusing on, okay, well, this is boring, you're listening to exposition about stories that are happening in this universe and according to the mythology. It's all just great stuff. And I think that's part of the reason that it's got such an appeal, is it tells a story so daggone well.
You would love that, Matt. That's one of the that was one of the coolest parts to me, when you're just riding around in the boat and the severed head that you have is telling stories of lore and things like that. Like, I would just I would paddle around in the canoe just to hear the stories because I don't want to get out. But it's so cool when you get out. He's like, he'll just cut himself off at like the end of a sentence at a natural point. It's not like he's talking and just ends. But at a natural point, he'll be like, but we'll talk more about that later. And then when you get back in the boat, see Atreus is like, so what were you talking about? And he's like, oh yeah. It's so very natural.
That's really cool.
They pick that up and do that, which is cool.
Small side note here. If on the God of War subject, you know, they ventured obviously from the Greek myths into the Norse myths. If you had to pick the next pantheon, what would you pick?
Oh, like which mythology would you go with next?
Yeah, where would you like to see Kratos go from here? What pantheon of gods? What mythology would he kill next?
Honestly, I want to see Egypt. I think that would be a fascinating.
That was my instinct. Yeah,
that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good. I got to be honest. I was struck dumb there. I'm like, I don't know what other, you know, You get
Let's
gritty.
just do an
North.
ambitious crossover with Egyptian mythology, and you have Imhotep, but not like the real Imhotep, the one from The Mummy and The
The
Mummy
one from the
Returns. Let's
movies,
get that.
Yeah, let's do
Hey,
that.
Brendan Fraser's getting back in the game, man. So
He
we
is, man.
could
He's
More
bring him
power
in.
to the band.
There you go.
Good for him.
So God of War Ragnarok. I'll tell you what it looks like, and I'm okay with this. It looks like what they've done with Breath of the Wild. It doesn't look any different than God of War. It looks, I mean, like I didn't see anything that I was like, oh, cool new mechanic or like really cool. It just looks like they're focused on story and they're just doing the same thing, which is fine because God of War, much like Breath, much like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's just a great game. Like it's just good, and you don't have to improve on it. Just give me more of the same, and I'm fine. Like I'm good.
As discussed earlier, Skyrim has been doing it, and Grand Theft Auto has been doing it. So
for a while, 10 years.
One of my favorite things about this last installment of God of War is the seamless transition between cutscene and gameplay.
Yes.
It really makes the whole thing seem so incredibly fluid. It's one of those small things that if you're paying attention to, you're like, wow, that's fascinating. How'd they actually make that happen? But if you're not, it's just seamless.
Right, because the whole game is pretty much a oneer, right? It's pretty much all one continuous shot.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, moving on to the final announcement that I was super excited.
Yes.
Dude, Spider-Man 2 coming out. Yes. 23 Insomniac Games. I'm right now playing Miles Morales. Last weekend over Labor Day, I literally watched every Spider-Man movie ever made because I have a life. And so it was interesting. I got to go back. I have to go back and say a few things about Spider-Man to correct ourselves from our last podcast.
Ourselves or you?
Me, just me.
Okay.
Correct me. But first, let's talk about Spider-Man 2 Insomniac Games. It drops 2023. Venom is in this game. They showed a quick clip of Venom, which is going to be exciting. And dude, that once again, just give me the same game with a different storyline. That's all Miles Morales Spider-Man is, and I'm fine because the gameplay is excellent. And I know we can't harp on it too much because you guys hadn't had a chance to play it on PlayStation, but I'm telling you, when the PS4 drops to like $100 when everybody gets PS5, go pick it up and play Spider-Man and play God of War and play Ghost of Tsushima, and the exclusives are just so good.
So we talked about exclusives a couple weeks ago, and like this generation of PlayStation games is what's convincing me like, oh, I need to get a PlayStation sooner than later because this back catalog of games that I keep saying I need to play at some point, I just don't have the hardware. It's reaching critical mass.
And there are 3 games that I haven't dug into. I haven't done Horizon Zero Dawn yet. I just started it. I hadn't gotten deep enough into it to appreciate it. I haven't done oh shoot, I can't think. Last of Us. I haven't done Last of Us yet. And I haven't done Uncharted. See, I've played 0 Uncharted games. Those are supposed to be fantastic.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, my wife has been begging to get a PlayStation for years so we could play The Last of Us.
Yeah, I hear it's great. I haven't started it. But yeah, so Spider-Man 2023, not much known other than Venom's going to be in it. Looks like Miles and Peter will be in this one. And yeah, just fantastic. Looks great. Excited for it. Pumped. They're also working on a Wolverine game. Insomniac Games. I feel like Insomniac is becoming kind of the new Rocksteady. Rocksteady did the Arkham games and did them so well. I'm ready for. They're doing Suicide Squad. They're doing the Suicide.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're doing the Suicide Squad game that comes out. I guess next year, maybe. Cool. Just to go back on my Spider-Man stuff, and you guys can argue me down. I got a couple hot takes. Okay, get ready for them.
Hit me.
Okay?
Ready.
Prepare yourself, Matt.
All right.
Number 1, I watched all 3 Tobey Maguire movies. Spider-Man 2, clearly the best. All right. Spider-Man 3 is a good movie for 1 hour. For 1 hour.
Okay. I'm glad you clarified that.
To a reasonable take. Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 is a great movie for 1 hour. All right. Let me tell you why. Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker and Spider-Man are neither confident or witty really in 1 and 2. He's kind of shy Tobey, right? Yeah. The Spider-Man that you see in the very beginning of Spider-Man 3, where he's chasing the armored truck, and dude, it is like witty, fun. entertaining Spider-Man, and I'm like, this is awesome. And I'm watching it going,
it's prime Spider-Man, like how you have him
Spider-Man.
in your head.
And I am sitting there going, wow, did I misjudge this movie? Have we all just not watched it in so long that it's like that? And then they make the choice to make Sandman Uncle Ben's real killer. And from that point on, that movie derails so fast that Sandman storyline is terrible. I like Sandman as a villain. I think Thomas Hayden Church, I think this is his name. Anyway,
I think so.
think that's it. I'll look it up. He plays an excellent Sandman. I think the story of him being like, hey, I don't want to do this, but I got a daughter and she's sick, and you could have explored more of that.
Yeah.
Harry Green Goblin, come on. That whole storyline sucks. And Venom is how did that make it to film? How did someone listen to Venom's voice was like a radio announcer trying to be scary? And I'm like, this is terrible. This is awful. Topher Grace's teeth. The dude left that 70s show for this movie.
Poor guy, man.
Poor guy. Poor dude, because that's a terrible Venom. That's awful.
Yeah.
Do you know they had 3 more sequels in the works? They had like
really
3. What were they gonna do?
And it tanked them. It tanked them. Like it was at least maybe to 5. But I think it was 6. But
and nothing against Topher Grace. I mean, he's a great actor for his kind of roles. But I don't, like that choice for Eddie Brock, even like why?
Yeah, weird, very weird. Then I watched the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Okay, hot takes here. Amazing Spider-Man 1. I don't like the suit. There's a lot I don't like about it. Why do so many people give so much hate to Amazing Spider-Man 2? That movie is good. That movie is really good. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot. I know Electro and like he's not yellow and like all that kind of stuff. That movie, you know what I think it is? I think people put that movie in the same category as like a Batman and Robin because it's like very over the top and whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay for Spider-Man to do that. I don't think Batman, it's okay to do that. Spider-Man, it was fun. The soundtrack was incredible. Like the instrumental soundtrack is awesome. And yeah, you got real loss that happens. Spoiler alert. I mean, it's been out for years. You got real loss that happens in that movie. Dude, I thought it was so good. And and they changed the spider suit. It looks very comic accurate. I thought it was great. That was fantastic.
My understanding of why people always hated it is it dragged on a little bit too long, and I don't necessarily agree with that. The storyline I always heard is that, oh, we don't need to know anything about Peter Parker's parent. It doesn't play into the storyline. Well, yeah, it kind of does. Like maybe not in the greater lore of what you expect from your typical Spider-Man films, but in this case, it fits. So I agree with you. I liked both of the Andrew Garfield movies. I didn't see there was a whole lot wrong with them.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take. I didn't like making his parents like some super important, secret spies or whatever they were ended up being. I don't know if they ever really exactly said what was happening with them, but I thought Garfield was okay. I know Spider-Man is cooler in the comics than we remember him, like as a cool guy, but I didn't like how punk rock he was in the Andrew Garfield version.
Punk rock.
But I heard you guys talked a lot of crap about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and I am team Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies officially. I have not seen all of the. I have not seen the second Tom Holland one yet. I really like the first one. I have nothing else. He's great. They're probably overall the best. I mean, I loved Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Incredible.
Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, especially the first half of the first Sam Raimi movie and the latter half of the second movie are really fantastic.
Did you I mean, I'm not going to continue to talk about Spider-Man on this podcast since our last one was all about Spider-Man. But I do want to say my
piece, so sorry.
Yeah, no. I was really talking about me. I was before you ever started talking, I was like, I'm talking about Spider-Man again. You've obviously seen Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I took my son to see it in the theaters.
So
you see that comment too, right?
I love Miss. I do. Did Will mocap Wolverine My hair's not good enough. Okay, Miss Click, my hair's not good enough.
Not
to
yet.
If you shave just right
The
down
right
the middle,
gel, man.
you got it.
Got that.
Yeah, I only wish I could do that. So yeah, but I'm not going to belabor Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse is fantastic. My God, I love it so much. I love it so much.
Final note on Spider-Man before we go away. There's all the talk about the multiversal factors of the next Tom Holland film. Talking about, apparently, Tobey Maguire's going to be in it. Garfield's going to be in it. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to happen or not?
Yes, I do. I think it's happening.
So?
I think. Listen. Marvel, which by the way, while she's still here, Miss Click, we want you back on this podcast. So we're gonna make that happen.
You're always welcome.
We're gonna make that happen. The Spider-Man, yes, I think they're absolutely going to do it. I think they're going to bring in every single Spider-Man. You already got Willem Dafoe confirmed. You've already got Doc Ock confirmed. You've got who else is Jamie Foxx is confirmed in it. Yep. I mean, I think they're going to do it. And I think Marvel's done a really good job. I read this article the other day. They do a really good job of editing their trailers.
They do. That's true.
Like if you go back and watch the original Far From Home Spider-Man trailer, when he does the whole deal, when he's like talking to the crowd, he's in his cloth Spider-Man suit. In the movie, it's the Iron Spider suit, because I don't know if it had been. I guess he had that before. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Endgame, I guess, or Infinity War. But I think they're going to do it. I think they've edited the trailer to look like they're not in there, but I definitely think they're in there.
I hope so. Like, I mean, obviously that'd be the coolest. I really hope that, it's more obscure, not obscure, but more difficult to rope in if they were to bring Shamik Moore and Jake Johnson in from the Spider-Verse movies. I think that would be awesome. And
I looked up, they're making a Spider-Verse 2 for October 2022, which just made my
very excited.
Nice.
And if they don't at least give an homage to Christopher Daniel Barnes, the original, not original, but my Spider-Man growing up from the animated series, I think that would be a missed opportunity.
Disney Plus has them all. I need to watch that series.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, so moving on. One more little thing while we're talking Marvel before we wrap it up. I saw, God, I don't want to pronounce this wrong. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. I saw it the other night. Guys, so good. So good.
Yeah, keep hearing it's good. So I'm really excited to see it.
It's fantastic, man. Like I went in with not a lot of hype, or I was like, okay, this will be okay. This will be all right. But it was fantastic. It was absolutely great.
My initial bar for that movie was right around the level of Marvel's Iron Fist, so very, very, very low.
Dude, it's a great like kung fu movie. Like it's like it is so good. You have to go watch it. It's great. And when I see it, all I can think to myself is why we never got a real good Dragon Ball Z video game.
Yeah.
It's great. Ahoy to you, the Alchemist. He says ahoy, which I love pirate talk.
Ahoy.
Yeah, Miss Click says 22-23 is going to be stacked. Absolutely
true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You missed our Breath of the Wild talk a little bit earlier.
We did. Breath of Wild.
Breath of Wild.
You missed our Breath of Wild.
Breath of Wild and God of the War.
About how,
Breath of coming out right after Galaxy of Mario.
DBZ is phenomenal. The Alchemist, yes, I
absolutely
big DBZ fan. Okay, so with that, is there anything else, you guys? Breath of the Wild, never heard of it.
You should really check it out. I think you'll like it.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It's gonna be good. Dr. Claw enters chat. I can't even see because of my camera. Oh yeah, heck yes. Dr. Claw, if you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. It's a fantastic movie. Okay, with that being said, we're going to jump into video game 20 questions unless you guys have anything else that you want to talk about. You got anything else? No,
not really.
I said my piece about Spider-Man, so I'm good.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to say one thing real quick, only because I promised I was going to say something this morning. Matrix Resurrection trailer dropped today. I am super hyped for it. We can talk about it more in depth another time.
Yes, trailer? I have not had a chance to watch it yet.
What trailer?
Matrix Resurrection.
Okay, talk about it real quick because I watched it. You haven't watched it yet?
I have not watched it, but I love Keanu Reeves. I'll watch the movie, anything he's in.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't a huge Matrix fan, but I can see the hype. So, hey, Dr. Claw, I agree. I'm a huge fan of the movie Shang-Chi. You can't see the comments if you're listening to this on Spotify, but says favorite MCU movie post Endgame. I agree. I didn't see Black Widow though. I didn't get a chance to see that one. Anyway, all right, let's do video game 20 questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Clearly, I only loaded one song into my Roadcaster. I went back. I was like, certainly I've got something else, right? Nope, that's it. That's all I've got is the Turtles in Time.
Try again next week.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
That's it. Okay, here we go. Video game 20 questions. You know how this works. You guys have 20 questions to guess a video game that I've got here. Your questioning can start right now. You can play along. Turtles in Time, sewer surfing. Yes, Derek 5189. That's exactly what it is. Killer. That was great.
First off, I think since it's just me and Eric,
I have tonight. That's it.
Since it's just me and Eric, I reserve the right to poll the audience here.
Okay. Yeah, you can poll the audience. Yeah, we can poll the audience. Don't cheat, but you can poll the audience. All right. Here we go. Video game 20 questions. Start going. Hey, chat, if you want to suggest questions, let's do that. If you're in the chat, and even if you know it, suggest questions. Don't spoil it for everybody else. Here we go.
Get us close.
Hey, Maddie, what do you say we just bounce back and forth on the questions here, one-on-one, yeah?
All right, go for it.
Do it.
All right, let's start with, was this game made before January 1st, 2010?
Before January 1st, 2010? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. After January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Okay, so we got a little 10-year gap there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is this game from the Xbox family of consoles?
Was it on Xbox? Is that what you're asking?
I think I was more asking if it's like exclusive to that family of consoles.
No.
Okay.
Is it exclusive to any platform?
I'll give you a hint here.
At launch.
At launch, yes. At launch, it was an exclusive.
Okay, so probably originally exclusive, then ported to either PC or went multi.
Does this game have a multiplayer element to it?
No.
Oh, okay. So single player only. Okay.
Single player, initially an exclusive.
Clarification: does multiplayer include cooperative?
Yes. That's not a question. So yes.
Okay.
No co-op, no online multiplayer.
Okay, so single player.
Strictly single player.
Single player game.
Okay. So between 2000 and 2010.
If you're just joining us and you're in the chat, if you would like to submit a question, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, hit me with some questions.
We won't.
And we will feel free to ignore it.
I'm gonna grab Miss Click's question. There is there magic?
Is there magic for Miss Click? There is no magic. That's it.
That's a shame. I think it would be better with magic. I don't know what the game is, but it would be better if there's magic in
it. No magic. You're at 6. Keep going.
All right. Is this game of the first-person variety?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to pull from the audience again. Are there swords? Can you use a sword?
Okay, so can you use a sword? Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I feel like we're about to narrow down the definition of what a sword is.
Or geese. Yeah. The Alchemist says, are there swords or geese? Which those are, very similar weapons. Okay. Just so I don't mess you up, here's where I mess up with video game 20 questions. I try to be like, well, kind of. Okay, so can you use swords? No.
Okay. Can you use swords? No. Are there swords? That might be a yes.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I am just screwing this up right now. So we're gonna keep this your 7th question. There is a sword in the game. It is not a primary weapon. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
I just totally bombed this, but there you go. I'll never get over swords or geese. All right, we're at 7. Just to be clear, no geese. No geese. All right, keep going.
Well, so it's not Untitled Goose Game. Got it.
It's not Untitled Goose Game.
Got a freebie on that one.
Is it my question or yours, Matty?
It's yours.
Okay. So I don't feel there's a whole lot of need. Well, maybe. I kind of want to narrow it down again and see if it's third person or maybe top down. I think that might give us some kind of clue. So let's ask, is this a third person game?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So a couple of hints from the audience. Ms. Click says, so got to be a shooter or something. And Dr. Claw says, so not an FPS, a timed exclusive, no magic, no swords. Why do I feel like I have less of an idea?
Welcome to Video Game 20 Questions, Dr. Claw.
Is it in a series of games?
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking it could be Mass Effect. It could be something like that. Mass Effect sort of has a sword in it.
I'll still keep the rule that if you get down to the last 5, and I'll give you hints for every one. So you got 5. So that was your 10th question.
Okay. I will borrow from Miss Click here. I'm very intrigued what she might be thinking on this one. And I will ask, are there holster straps involved?
I don't know what that means.
Are there holster straps involved? Holster straps? No.
Okay.
That's 11. The silence is great for podcasting. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Is it?
We do our best to bring about
long
dead
periods of silence. That's
we
really
want to make it
Sitting and
awkward
thinking-
for everyone.
Sitting and thinking never really helps. So I'm just going to rapid fire.
anyone who
first
just
thing comes
joined
to
this
mind.
anyone who just joined this live stream was met with long periods of silence.
Yeah. Okay. Is it in a science fiction setting?
Live stream from the 4 Blind People. What was your question? I'm too busy being an idiot.
Is it a science fiction type game?
Is it a science fiction type game? No. Now we see
Okay.
where this is going. So not
Okay.
Uncharted. Dang it.
Okay. So that kind of killed one of my ideas. No, because we said it was third person. I don't know why Portal jumped into my head, but it's clearly not that. Have we actually asked about genre yet? I know we've narrowed down that it's third person, but
You have
It's not
asked-
sci-fi, and there's no magic. That's all.
okay.
yeah.
Then let's take the low-hanging fruit. Is this a third-person shooter?
It is a third-person game. There is a lot of shooting. I would not consider this a shooter.
Okay, that's actually a really
Okay.
helpful question.
I'm gonna throw an audience question in here, or chat question. Jeff Hish says, "Are there animals in the game?" No, Jeff. There's no animals in the game.
That's
not
not
gonna
Animal Crossing. Shoot.
I'm not going to count chat questions as your questions. Okay.
Okay,
So,
I like that.
So I'm not going to count chat
Keep them
questions.
coming, chat.
Dr. Claw, I missed this one from Dr. Claw. Is it a platformer? No, it's not a platformer.
Okay. Yes, third person. So I assume not side scrolling or top down.
Your question 13 right now. So is it your next question?
Okay, we're closing in. We're closing in here.
Now, purely as a talking point here, Maddie, like I know that like swords don't exist in that game, but my mind is going towards like this Shadow of War games. Was that ever an exclusive?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Xbox exclusive at first. I could be wrong on that though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think roughly in that realm because I mean swords exist, but you don't use them. I don't think it's that, but
Yeah. It's third
One more
person,
question
there
from
is
the audience while you guys debate. Alchemist says, is it a futuristic game with robots with a great emoji? It is not. It's not a futuristic game with robots.
It's not sci-fi. There's no robots. Single player only. Huh.
I mean, no, I wanted to say Resident Evil, but that is primarily a shooter.
Chad is asking way more questions than you guys. All right. Dr. Claw, is it the first entry in its franchise? No. Great
That's
question.
a great question, Claw.
It's not the first entry in its franchise.
Okay.
Might it be? Well, was any of the Arkham games, were they exclusive?
That's a good question. I don't know.
No one will. My boy Will loves him some Batman. I wouldn't put it past him to throw a Batman game and 20 questions.
could be a Telltale game. Could be Wolfmongus.
Okay. Wolfmongus, yes.
Chat showing you up. Is this a racing game with Ninja Turtles? No, I just really like.
He said there's no animals.
I really like the song.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Dr.
Your
Claw.
question, Maddie. What you got?
So it's some kind of sequel. Yes, it is.
I'm trying to phrase that into a question. I mean, has it got, does it have superheroes in it?
Does it have superheroes in it? No, that's 13.
Okay, it's not Arkham.
Dang, man. Okay. Would this game be considered hack and slash?
I'm gonna look and make sure. No. No, not even close. I just want to make sure that it wasn't like some weird, like, oh, this could be considered, but no.
Okay. Is it an RPG? Is there like progression?
Define. Okay, so we always go through this. Define RPG, because some people's RPG is like, oh, if you level up at all. What do you consider RPG?
See, yeah, I would say do like level up and gain new abilities and skills.
No.
Okay.
That is. Is that 15?
I think that's 15 there.
That's 15. So now every question from here till 20, I'll give you a hint. Okay. Does the main character have white hair from The Alchemist? No, the main character does not have white hair.
Okay, it's not Devil May Cry. My mind next went to things like Prototype or what was the PlayStation one? But those are both exclusive, so I know it's not going to be that. Does this
female protagonist? No.
Does this have a?
Hang on, excuse me. Chat's talking.
I have an actual mic.
Excuse me. Chat was talking. Jeff Hish says, was it released during the 2010s? Jeff came in a little bit late. We discussed that earlier. It's between 2000 and 2010 is what they have narrowed down. All right. So sorry. Continue with your question now, Eric, for number 16.
Well, now I forgot what the question was. So thanks, chat, and thanks, Will.
Yeah, it's really my fault.
I would say, does this game have a modern day setting?
Define modern day.
Of the time, was it set in roughly the time when it was released?
Freaking.
Yeah, so let's say modern, since we know it's between 2000 and 2010, that we're gonna say modern day is between like 1990 and 2020. How about that?
No.
Okay.
No. Here's your first hint. PlayStation 2 exclusive. And I'll even give you PlayStation 2 exclusive, released in 2002.
Okay.
Now
your question, Maddie.
I'm trying to think more like, is it something like Ratchet and Clank or something along that line? More of like a. Does it feature puzzles as a main core gameplay?
No, that's your 17th question. So your next hint would be, this game is what hint can I give you that's not? Let me go ahead and give you the. It's a single player action adventure game, PlayStation 2 exclusive that eventually came to Microsoft Windows, Xbox, iOS, Android, and Mac OS X.
Matt, do you happen to know off the top of your head when Shadow of the Colossus was released?
Oh, that's close. That's
mascot game. Dr. Claw, I'm not sure what mascot game means, but if it's like if we're talking about,
he kind of poo-pooed the sword though.
Yeah, but the sword was never really a focal point. Like, you used the sword once you actually got on top of the colossi and stabbed him, but it was by far not a focal point of it.
Yeah, I thought immediately Kingdom Hearts, but I don't know how pedantic Will is being about swords.
So your question number 18. So you got 2 questions left and a guess. My last 2 should give you your answer.
Okay.
Does it feature a character that shows up in any other property? Like the character from this game in another thing. Okay.
No. It is a has the game gotten a remake or a remaster?
Good question, Claw.
Great question, Claw. It has been re-released, like I talked about, on just about everything. But it has not been remastered. I only wish this game was remastered. Love this. Well, it's not ATV Off-Road Fury, that's for sure. Hey, Alchemist, I want you to know that was the first PlayStation 2 game I ever had. Like when I opened my PlayStation 2 on Christmas, my parents had bought me. I grew up in Alabama, and so they bought me ATV Off-Road Fury. I
used to play the demo of ATV Off-Road Fury off a jam pack disc that I got out of a magazine.
That you stole from a Walmart.
Probably.
Slid out of the plastic at the Walmart. For everyone before 2010, magazines used to be little books that you would read that you could buy off the shelf at Walmart that sometimes had demo discs in them. Okay, so your question. Okay, so here's your hint for before you put your answer. This is an open world game. It's an open world game. Okay, watch it be Phantom Vision.
I'm thinking maybe like Grand Theft Auto or something like that. It's gotten a remaster. It was originally.
They said re-release, not. Well, I don't know. Is re-release and remaster the same thing in your mind?
No.
Okay.
Re-release is like, hey, it's the same exact game. Remaster would be like, hey, look at these new HD graphics, textures, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And are we on our last question or second last question?
19, your last question.
All right. I don't want to ask if it's like a famous game.
I got you a little 19th question music here, man.
Okay.
All right, last question, Eric. What's it going to be?
I think my final question is going to be in the same vein as our game last week.
Okay.
Was this a game that was received and reviewed very highly?
Oh, yeah. All right. So this is your last hint, and now you got to guess, okay? The game is set in, let me see what, because I'm going to give you the setting of the game. The game is set in 1986.
Ooh. When was Vice City? Was Vice City 2002?
Could be. That's in the right kind of genre, like the right kind of area, I think.
I feel like it fits everything that we're. Yeah, I'm comfortable guessing Vice City.
All you have is a guess.
I'm comfortable going Vice City if you are, Matt.
Long period.
Your silence is it's
sorry.
It's not reinforcing.
What is it? Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
It is Grand Theft Auto Vice City. There you go. Congratulations. Yeah. You can thank Chad a lot.
Eric on that one.
You can thank Chad a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I would love, back to Dr. Claw, I would love for this game to be remade and remastered. And they say they're going to do it. They say that Rockstar is going to release all three, San Andreas 3 and Vice City, all with remaster. So yeah, 1986 mobster Tommy Vercetti is released from prison, serving 15 years, and now seeks to build his wealth in Miami. Or not Miami, it's Vice City, but it's Miami.
It's Miami.
So, yeah, hey, you guys did great. That was awesome. Hey, thank you to all of our
good teamwork, Matt.
And
chat. Another one for
chat. High five. The chat helped you out a ton. All right. Listen, they really did a great job. So there you go. It is Grand Theft Auto Vice City, guys. You did a great job. And yeah, I think that's all the time we have for this week. We've burned up all of our time. Hey, listen, so happy that everyone joined us tonight on the live feed. If you're listening to this on Spotify later, you can join us every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, if people get here on time. For
I got kids, man.
To hang out. Yeah, I know you got kids. Me and Eric will be here. Me and Eric will be here, and then everybody else will join when they can. But hey,
just come when you want.
So glad everybody was able to hang out tonight. And yeah, just just come back next week. We'll play more video game 20 questions. We'll have more fun. Hey, that's all the time we got for the 4 Plot Podcast. Gonna send us out on the only song I have loaded in my Roadcaster. Some more Turtles Sewer Shred.
Cowabunga.
Guys, good night. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.